Who should you hire first? So up until this point, we've talked about where do you spend your time? And we've kind of analyzed where you're currently spending your time. And I pointed out if you can recover more time, you can make more money. Time is that only limited resource in this whole process of making money and building wealth through business. So who should you hire first? This is the big question that most people have a problem with answering. And this is why most people struggle when it comes to outsourcing. They just don't know who to hire first. So let's talk about three different questions that you can answer or consider to determine who you need to hire first. So your first hire depends on your situation. So here's the first question. Is there one area where you spend most of your time? As I said, the more time that you can recover, the more money that you'll make for yourself because you can then spend that freed up time on the more important things to grow your business. So is there one area where you spend most of your time? If you did the exercises to break down where you're spending your time, you should have the answer. So let's say you spend 3 hours a day on doing customer support, and that's way more time than you spend on doing anything else in your business. Well, that's a pretty good candidate for your first hire. Hire someone to take over that 3 hours a day to do the customer support, and then you have a free 3 hours every day, and you don't have to deal with the headaches of doing the customer support anymore. And now you can spend that 3 hours a day on more important things for making money. If you just got that one person to take over that one thing, you'd be so much better off. But this is only the very beginning of all this outsourcing stuff. And we're really going to get into a lot more than that. But let's just take that one example. How much happier would you be if you were spending 3 hours dealing with customer support emails and tickets and even having to call people back if you no longer had to do that ever again and you got those free 3 hours back? You'd, of course, be much happier, and of course, your business would be able to grow much faster because you'd be able to spend your time on more important things. So that's the first question. Is there one area where you spend most of your time? But that's not always the answer, what the answer is to that question. That's not always the case of who your first hire is. That's why we need to consider these other questions. Is there one area where you'd make the most money by having someone else do it? So maybe you have a task where it doesn't take up most of your time, but it's a very important task that if you had someone else doing it and could even put in more hours than you, it could make you a lot more money than, let's say, if you delegated customer support that took up 2 or 3 hours of your time. This could be going out and recruiting joint venture partners, or it could be creating information products or some other type of product or software for you. It could be, going out and doing some search engine optimization, or, setting up pay-per-click campaigns and expanding your keyword list and expanding your number of keyword campaigns. So is there one area where you'd make the most money by having someone else do it? Because of course, if you can delegate that right away and bring in more money right away, now you have a lot more money in the budget to hire multiple people to start freeing up your time doing the other things that are left with your time. Customer support, contacting partners, whatever else is left, making products, so on and so forth. So that's the other question you need to consider as well. Is there one area where you'd make the most money by having someone else do it? And of course, the last one, which is related to the second one in a way, depending on your situation, is there a major bottleneck that's keeping you from making progress? So if you've started a new online business and you're stuck spending your time learning the technical stuff of how to create a stinking web page and how to just put a web page online or how to set up a WordPress blog, and you're trapped figuring out how to get the little new like button for Facebook to work, or how to get the comments formatted right and your graphics don't look right of what you tried to create yourself in Dreamweaver, whatever the case is. Do you have a major bottleneck that's getting you to go from here to bringing in money? Maybe it's you're struggling with creating a product. Maybe you know what market you want to go into, but you're struggling with how to make the product, or you just don't have the expertise to make the product. Or maybe it is that technical aspect where you just can't get your stinking domain name to work. You can't get the email your name at whatever your domain name.com is to come to you to your Gmail account. Or it could be you can't get your pages uploaded, or you don't know how to deal with the DNS stuff. Or it could be something else. Maybe you've got a product, you got the website set up, you got the landing pages set up, you have the email list all ready to go, but you just can't figure out how to make AdWords campaigns work for you. You can't figure out how to really set up pay-per-click campaigns and how to do it right. It seems like you're wasting so much money, you just can't make it work. So what's the major bottleneck that's keeping you from making the progress, from if we start at the very beginning all the way through to the moment that cash comes in and goes into your bank account, is there something along the way that's stopping you from getting to the next step that brings you closer to bringing in the cash? Because whatever that big bottleneck is, and for a lot of people, it's the technical stuff, that's who your first hire needs to be. And it may not even be a full-time hire or a part-time hire. You may just need to pay someone $100 just to do, as my friends say, the handle it method. You just pay someone to handle it, pay someone to do it for you. So there's a lot of outsourcing that can be done without hiring someone on part-time or even full-time on an ongoing basis. It's like just contract work. It's, hey, just help me with one little project, and if I need you again, I'll come back to you for some more stuff. So we're going to talk about this next week, get into hiring and finding people and getting people to actually do work for us. There's different levels of work, part-time, full-time, as well as contract work. We're going to go over all that. But that's probably a bottleneck that you have that you need help with. For example, if you get stuck on the technical stuff, you can hire someone and pay them a little bit of money. When I say hire, I don't mean on an ongoing basis, but just pay someone a little bit of money to get you past the bottleneck so you can then move on to the next stage. So that's how you figure out really who you need to hire first. It's based on your situation, and it's based on those three areas. Where do you spend the most of your time that could be freed up by hiring someone else to do all that work for you so you don't have to do it anymore? Or is there one area in your business that you can identify that would make more money if you just had someone else doing it on an ongoing basis for you? And then lastly, is there a major bottleneck that's stopping you from making progress to what you believe is the next step before or getting closer to bringing cash into your bank account? So that's what you need to think about in regards to who the first person is that you're going to hire or just pay to get to help you.